So hello, I am on with a student and he has some great questions about the last part, task number 4, part 3 on apportionment for the Unit 1 project. So I thought I would just make a little video on how I would go about working on this. So you're going to pick 2 states, one in the top 25 most populous, so highly populated, and one in the bottom 25. I'm going to pick Michigan, so you guys are not allowed to pick my same 2 states. So I'm going to go to the state population data. So I chose Michigan right here. I'm going to highlight it so that when you open it, it's highlighted so you can't use it. And so I'm using under population. I'm using this, it's 10,045,000. Okay. And then the other state that I'm going to use is going to be, I was going to use one from my friend, but I'm going to use New Hampshire. Where did Rhode Island go? Okay, so I'm going to use, Rhode Island right here. Okay, so those are going to be my 2 states. But for now, I'm really just making it for Michigan, because once you do it for one, and then it should make sense for the others. So let's go back to what the project states. So I picked my 2 states. I'm doing Michigan and Rhode Island. Also in the updated, I'm going to make it sure it's attached, but in the updated Unit 1 project student example that I put out in the JetNet link, which let me show you just to confirm wherever that is. So when you go to the project, here is random districts, here's the population data, and here's the student example. So when you click on the student example, once I have this done, it should be attached to the student example that you've probably seen this first sheet here, which is the first couple tasks about how you spend your time. And then this other second sheet, I'm going to delete that. That's not any longer needed. And then actually it says sheet 3. I'll put on here the task 4. This is for Michigan. So here's my Michigan and my standard divisor. So you can see up here, there's a calculation right here. So I took my Michigan. Anytime you're going to do an equation in a calculation in Excel, if you use the equal sign, it allows you to do a math equation. So if you say equal, and then your population for your state, and then divide that by 50, because I want you to have 50 districts that you're sharing these between. Oh, wait, that's their population. And I can't use my seats. Sorry about that. I have to share my seats. So I have to redo my lower quotas here. So we have to look up the number of seats in the Michigan House. So it says find the number of representatives elected to the state house. Note, this is not the federal. So I have to do that for Michigan, and I have to do that for my other state, which you can see I chose Rhode Island. So I'm going to go and I'm going to research number of representatives in the, and actually we can just say in the Michigan House. Okay, not what Michigan represents to the nation, but the Michigan House of Representatives. So it says there's 110 Michigan representatives who are qualified electors of districts having approximately 77,000 and 91,000 residents. Okay, so here are the district maps. This was from 2012. So there are 110. So I need to do that for Rhode Island as well. So I'm going to go back to my project here, and I'm just going to put, oops, I don't want any of that. What am I doing here? I want to say Michigan, and I'm going to put 110 seats. Okay, so you know what that has. And then I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to give myself some space and do Rhode Island right here. So I would have to do the same for Rhode Island. Okay, but like I said, if we do it for Michigan, then it will follow for Rhode Island. So I have 110 seats, and here's my population. Oops, and I have to divide that by the 110 seats, because that would tell me how many people. So right now it should be 91,318 people So my rounded standard divisor, I'm going to round mine to, I'm just going to round mine up to 92,000. How about that? Or 91,500. So rounded to an easier number to work with. So right now I'm saying for every representative, they're representing about 91,500, which makes sense because look at, when I looked it up on the website, it said they're representing anywhere between 77,000 and 91,000 people. And Logan, you following so far? Because you're the person I'm wanting to help. Okay, that's all good so far. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another column that's my standard quota. And I have to change this because I want it to not be B2, but I want it to be D. So, and I'm creating this all for you guys, so you don't have to do this, but notice up here where I'm typing, I wanted to always use this cell D2 because I want to divide all of the random district populations. See where I put that, and I'll show you how to go get that in just a moment. I'm going to take each of those random district populations and divide by this rounded standard divisor. So hit enter. And then anytime you want to copy something down, if you grab this solid green button here and just drag it with your mouse, your left-hand button on your mouse, it will drag it down. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, how did I get these random district populations for my cities? Remember, the districts are like my cities. So District 1 or City 1 has made up, right? This is a made up population of 401,800, and it needs to add up to my total population in Michigan. So I want to gonna put my Michigan population here because I just want to make sure that I'm kind of documenting everything. So my Michigan population is again 10,000,004. I'm just going to copy that again. Copy that over. Well, let me do that. And there we go. Okay, so there's my Michigan population. So I want, so when I go to the population, the populator, I need that number, and I'm going to go to the random numbers. Okay, now I've already done it for Michigan. So when you enter in this cell in the random number generator, it's going to randomly generate new numbers over here for your cities. Okay, so notice it already did mine. 52, 528, 684 is my first city. And they will add up. Notice at the bottom, it will sum up to be what your state population is. Okay, to make sure that we've fakely created this. So now I think I did this. So I want to make sure that mine sums up to be, if I copied over the right thing, and it does. So down here at the bottom, this should sum up to be your total of your population of your state. Okay. Now, if I were to go and put that number back in to my random generator again, right here, and I hit enter. Oopsie daisy. Oh, I think I don't save. Okay, I'm going to open that back up again, that random generator. Okay. So I'm going to put in the 10 million, was it 45,000? that I said for Michigan. So notice that it's, oh, that's the 50. I meant to do it here. 10 million. Right here. So notice it's going to give me different values. So you only want to do it once. If you redo it, then you have to copy your numbers over again. Okay, but notice it still totals to be my 10,045,000 down here under the 50 districts, not the 25. Make sure you're using the 50. Okay, so once you get those, you're going to grab those with your left mouse. You can write them if you want, or you can grab them with your left mouse and go down. And the Control plus your C key at the same time helps you copy. And then you can go over to your document. And you're going to go to your, wherever that is. I'm just making it up that I'm right here. And Control and V as in Victor lets you paste those. Now look at it, didn't paste my numbers. So if you actually go to the cell that you want to start pasting in and go down to the paste options by right clicking, and notice the first one still gives me a calculation. Go to the next one, it will give you the values. And then though it's just not quite wide enough, so I have to widen that to make sure it has room for all my digits. So there's the time I did it again, but I don't want those numbers, so I'm going to clear those out. Okay, is that all still good, Logan?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm saving my questions till like the end.
Okay, so right now we took, these are my randomly city populations for my cities in Michigan, my 50 districts in Michigan. And I took and divided each of those populations right here and divided by my standard divisor, which is 91,500 D2. So they should all be, notice when I go down, they should all be individual cell from the B column. So this should say B5 divided by D2, divided by D2. They should all be divided by D2. Okay. Now, there is a way to go through here and force all of these just to use your lower quota, but I'm just going to type them myself. So notice how I'm just using the left digit, just like we learned in class. So that should be 9, 3, 8, 2, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. These are not getting any representatives. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, now if I sum them, right, I'm going to say equals, I'm going to say SUM, left parenthesis, and I'm going to grab up here. And now if you're using my spreadsheet, you can basically use my calculation or my formula in the background because it should all be the same. So mine totaled at 87, but we set up here that I need 110, right? So I'm just going to make a note for myself. My lower quotas, add to 87, but have 110 to give out. Okay. So that means I have 110 minus 87, which is 23, right? 23 extra to give out. So I could look and see if that would be all my ones that have zeros, because everybody should at least get one representative. So that would really be, in all honesty, how they would do that. But if you use the Hamilton's method, it's going to be going by the highest decimal place, right? That's who's going to get it. So you'd have to actually go through here and find out who is the highest decimal. So I'm going to just make a star on the ones that are in the 0.99s, because they're going to be the first to get one. So this 0.99, look at this 1.98. This is going to be a 1, right? 2.89. So that's a possible 1. You see how I'm choosing these? So the 0.99s are going to be the first to get one. Oh, 0.92. Okay, so there's very few there that have the 0.92. So then we can, now we've done all the 0.99s, I can go in and add all the 0.8s and see, because I have 23 to give out. So in all reality, if I use, you get to choose which one you're using. So if I use the Hamilton method, it's going to be basically, so some people will have 0, right? If they don't have enough to round up to, like this 0.55 one right here, this district 27 for me, they're at 0.55. They're not likely to get any because they're not going to round up. So maybe Hamilton's method isn't the best way for this one. Maybe I should go with Jefferson's method, where I change my divisor so that everybody in the zeros right now, they all bump up to have a lower quota of 1. Does that make sense? So if I lower my, if I go up and lower my divisor, my rounded standard divisor, if I lower that to maybe 90,000, let's see what that does to everybody. Let's see if there's anybody that still has, there's still some, there's a few here still that are 0 point, but look at even that, this one right here, they're that 0.187, they're just not going to get enough. 0.195, they're just not, those districts aren't going to have any representation. Even with, it would take a really low to get one. Now, on the Michigan website, it did say, so if we go back there for a minute, it did say some districts have as few as 77,000. So maybe if I lowered it just to see if that tips it over, if I lower this to, let's say 78,000 and see if that puts it to where everybody's lower quota. Nope, that still does not give enough, right? Because I'm spreading it out. Now, also, one thing that's different here is let's go to, there's 110 representatives. And how many districts do we have in Michigan? Let's see here. Looks like there's 110 districts. So there's 110. So I guess we could try to somehow, I'd like to figure out how many districts that they split this between. I didn't see it anywhere, just because I was going to try to edit this a little bit so I can budget. But what I want you to do is, if there are some that get 0, some just get 0. So you can see that a lot would get 0, even if I use the Jefferson, right? Because I'm using their lower quotas. And I just would have to lower it so much. Let's see if I lowered it to 50,000 as my standard divisor. It's still not enough to round everybody up, because look at, I have some districts that have 12,268 people in there. So it's not going to be enough to do that. So I'm just going to have some that are zeros. So even though it doesn't seem fair, because you're going to have some that have 0 representation, I want you to be able to show that you can find your standard divisor, you can find your standard quota, you can explain that you use the Hamilton's method or the Jefferson's method or the Webster's method, if you so choose. Any questions there?
I feel like that the 0, it bottoming out with a lot of zeros, it was one of the things that, like, that troubled me with this, because that didn't make sense. I felt like the formula or the calculation I was working with, I use Google Sheets, so I don't know if that makes it operate differently.
I'm not sure either. Everybody should have a Microsoft account through Jackson College. So if you go to your email in Jackson College, I don't know what it looks like from my end, but I know, like, if everybody can see my screen over here in the top left. So doesn't do it for me because I'm not in the Jackson College. But over in the left-hand side screen of your email in Jackson College, should be a Microsoft symbol. And if you click on that, it allows everyone to use a Microsoft account for Word and Excel on your computer. And you can even download it so it's permanently on your computer. So that might be an option too. But I think Sheets should let you do these simple calculations similar to what you can do in Excel. So that would be 2, 1, 2, 3 extra. That part again. So the two initial things that you have to worry about are choosing your 2 states and then going to the state population and grabbing your state's population. So there's Michigan and then there's Rhode Island for me, putting that into your project, into your project data. And like I said, you can take my student example and copy this kind of outline here. Your state is going to change because you're going to have different states. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put your state's population up where I have yellow here. And then you're going to calculate right here your standard divisor, which is your state's population divided by your state's number of districts or representatives, right? Your seats. So Michigan, when I looked it up, Michigan has 110 Michigan representatives. Now, when I go and do Rhode Island, number of Michigan and Rhode Island House, then I would find something reputable. It looks like there's 75 members elected to 2-year terms. So they have 75 in their House of Representative at the for Rhode Island. So I would when I go to do Rhode Island, then I would have the Rhode Island's population divided by their 75 districts, or their 75 representatives, I mean. The districts that your random numbers that are coming from this district thing and the random number generator, again, is fake data that has to add up to your state's population. So notice down here, it should add up to your state's population. So it's fake data. That's the 25 district one. We want to use the 50 district one, but it should also add up to your fake state cities. This thing here got mixed up. Why does it keep doing that? And I'm just going to get out of there again so it doesn't ruin it for you all. And so this is it's just fake city data, basically. The districts are 50 fake cities or fake areas that your 110 representatives for the state of Michigan would be 110 seats. We said Rhode Island has 75 seats. So that's where you have to go and find your state and your 2 states that you're choosing and let me know how many seats each of them should be having. You're going to generate your fake data for your districts, and then you're going to calculate your standard quota for each and use that in deciding if you're how you're going to round those up or round those down. questions?
I think I'm understanding. I was definitely confused on whether I get what you mean now about there are 50 districts, but no matter what, you keep the same number of seats from the real world state.
Right. Yeah.
And you just
And
have to
right.
Mm.
And that's why some of the district populations just really aren't big enough to do anything with. And that's why they're getting zero representation, because their standard quota is just, it's almost impossible to get it to round up. So unless you said, oh, everybody that has a lower quota of 0, I'm automatically giving them 1. I mean, if you do that and you tell me that, tell me that you're doing that in your work. I don't know how they do that in a state, to be honest. So let's just say I did that, and then I gave everybody else their actual lower quota. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to see what this adds up to be here. So this is, oops, no. And all the zeros, I'm going to give them 1 just to see if that fills in. And I'm going to just copy over this summing. Wow, that worked out, didn't it?
Yeah, that works completely fine. Yeah.
So that worked for me. And so if y'all decide to do that, if it works out that the ones that are getting 0, if you just gave them a 1 and then all the other districts got their lower quota. But remember, that worked out. That's when I did, oh, a lower quota, the original lower quota. What did I have? 91,000.
Yeah, I think it was just 91,000.
I think it was 91,000. That's it worked for that. So play around with it and see what you can do that you could justify. Now, what if I had to make a choice where I didn't have enough seats, 23 seats to give out, and not all of my zeros got 1. And if I did give them all 1, then that caused it caused me to go over 110. So when you do your write-up, I want you just to be realistic. Like, how would you decide? You have to choose Hamilton's, Jefferson, or Webster, follow it through, write out your reasoning. That just shows me that you're understanding the concepts. And if, like on mine, it just magically worked that I had 23 extra seats, literally that got lucky. And I gave all my zeros a 1, and it worked out to be my 110 right here beautifully. Now my Rhode Island may not work out that way. So that's where I want y'all to check that out. So I have to look at my population here for Rhode Island and see how this is going to work out. Format this a little bit better for y'all to be able to follow along. Okay, let's see, what is my Rhode Island population here? It is 1056160, 1056160. Whoops. 1056160. Is that what I said? Yeah. Okay. So that is that. I'm going to go to my generator again and see. Oh, I keep doing this 50 and keep doing that 25. So I want to do it in that 50. So there's my 50 for Rhode Island. Let's just see here. And okay, so there's my Rhode Island, 81243. Let's go back there. Let's just add this up. Okay, so yep, so add it to my population. And when you copy it over, it kind of copies over and it generates new. It's kind of cool. Oh, I really wanted this to be over here. Just a minute here, shift cell left. Okay, so here are my 50. Okay, so my standard quota, my standard divisor here is going to be taking my population and divided by my 75 seats. So this should be my standard divisor, a whopping 14,082. So I'm going to go with the rounded standard divisor here as 14,000 and see what we get. So my standard quota should be equal to taking my fake population of District 1 and divided by $K, $2, enter. So 5.8, and then I'm going to just drag this down. Lots of them are getting zeros. Wow. So that's going to be a 0.
See, that's the exact thing I was missing. I just need to know how you were meant to do all those calculations at once.
So all those were zeros. So I'm just going to do my lower quotas here, 7, 4, 6, 3, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so now I have 55, right? And I have 75. So to give, so if I have 20 here, let's see. If I give that one 1, and then copy and give all these ones here. And just copy this over. Let's just see. Close, but I'm 10 over. So I have something I have to think about here. Just 1 minute.